Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Two parents from Dearborn accused of abusing their little girl just a few weeks old. The judge taken aback by the details of the case.
The serious nature of the injuries inflicted on such a helpless and such a young victim really chills my bones.
Just awful. It tops our news tonight at 6. First-degree child abuse charges involving an infant who's thankfully still alive.
Yeah, the judge setting such a high bond for these parents. The signs of the alleged abuse first spotted at a pediatrician's office in Dearborn. The child was rushed to Children's Hospital in Detroit. Victor Williams is there right now with the very latest on this case. Victor.
Please, Your Honor, don't do this to me, please.
I'm not doing anything to you, ma'am.
Things got very intense in the courtroom as Amy Talby and Murtada Almiamar were both officially being charged with first-degree child abuse.
She's all set.
But let's rewind to just a few moments prior, and the Dearborn couple was individually sitting before a judge for their alleged crimes against their own infant child.
The victim in this case, as I understand, is 52 days old.
Back on September the 29th, the one-month-old baby was taken to a local pediatrician's office with multiple bruises on her head, neck, and stomach. Some of those bruises seemed to even show signs of strangulation. Thankfully, someone from the office was able to contact the police. From there, the child was transported to Children's Hospital where they determined the child was being physically abused. Both parents in their early 30s were taken into custody shortly afterwards.
You are being charged with child abuse in the first degree. This is a felony.
Talby was given a bond of $100,000 cash, no 10% with the GPS tether, and that's when the meltdown started.
That bond is not going to be $20,000 cash or surety bond. It's going to be $100,000 cash or surety bond, no 10%.
She's all set. Please.
She had to be escorted out. Almiamar, however, was very quiet as he was hit with an additional charge of habitual offender second offense. Because of that, he was given a bond of $250,000 cash with a GPS tether as well.
Are convicted of this charge, this carries sanctions of life or any term of years.
And we do apologize. We had some technical difficulties, but this child is recovering, and last we heard, that child is going to be making a recovery, thankfully, right here at the hospital. The next preliminary hearing is set for October the 21st. Victor Williams, Local 4.
52 days old. All right, thank you, Victor.
Police have identified the employee accused of shooting a coworker at a Bloomfield Township deli. They say 52-year-old Ernest Connors drove to Steve's Deli on Telegraph near Maple and fired multiple shots inside yesterday morning. A woman was hit but is expected to be okay. Police say Connors took off and took his own life when police tried to pull him over. Bloomfield Township police are still investigating a motive. The deli was back open today.
A Detroit man learns his sentence in a road rage shooting that killed a Detroit fire lieutenant last year. 28-year-old Terrell Josie was convicted in August on manslaughter and weapons charges. The shooting happened back on July 5th of 2021 over on Rochester Road in Troy. Prosecutors say Josie was the passenger in an SUV that followed Lieutenant Francis Dombrowski. Things escalated near a gas station when Dombrowski was shot and killed. Josie was sentenced to 7 to 17 years in prison.
City of Highland Park continues to fight a water bill case that threatens its financial future. Mayor Hubert Yop is looking to Michigan's Supreme Court to help the city dodge that crushing debt of $24 million. Local 4's Rod Maloney is live with the update tonight. Rod, it seems like this battle has been going on for years now.
Right. It's one of the longest running court cases going right now in the state of Michigan. It's been over 10 years. Mayor Hubert Yop, as you talked about, is saying essentially that the city does not owe this money, shouldn't have to pay that money, won a court case to that effect a couple of years ago. But here's the thing. Any litigation that goes on this long is never that simple.
We can't quit. $20 million would cripple us. It wouldn't stop us, but it would cripple us.
Highland Park is one of the state's poorest cities. Its water plant shuttered years ago for poor water quality, and during the Detroit bankruptcy battled with the new water authority over unpaid bills. And Mayor Hubert Yop claims not only does the city not owe the cash, he says land banks owning a lot of the city's vacant housing stock does instead.
So a lot of the debt that they're talking about, it's not even our debt, it's the county and the state.
Yet that's not how a state appeals court ruled back in August, leaving Yop to say today he'll appeal to the Supreme Court. Macomb County Drain Commissioner Candace Miller says the mayor's only making the lawyers wealthy.
It's not surprising, but yes, it's very disappointing. And really what I would advise the city of Highland Park to do is to ask the governor to appoint an emergency manager, quite frankly, for a city that's unfortunately, but obviously dysfunctional.
Highland Park resident Teresa Williams says the state stepping in is probably a good idea.
I would think that they would be able to help. I don't know if that's their responsibility, but somebody needs to step in.
Look, you have 110 communities that are members of the Great Lakes Water Authority. Everybody is paying their water and sewer bills, except one, Highland Park. So that's not fair, and it's not sustainable.
Now, Yop says he's going to appeal to the state Supreme Court, but they haven't done so officially yet. They have about 30 days left to be able to do that. In the meantime, while the case is winding through the courts, the bills still need to get paid. And Candace Miller says that come January or February, the Great Lakes Water Authority is likely going to have to raise rates again for all of its customers because Highland Park still is not paying its portion of the bill. Reporting live, Rod Maloney, back to you.
Saga continues. Okay, Rod, thanks.
Sure, I've had a pretty nice October Monday. If you're hoping for maybe one more dose of 70 degrees, we may be in luck.
Yeah, so let's get over to Kim Adams for a look at the forecast. Kim.
You are in luck. In fact, we'll have a couple of 70-degree days, maybe as many as 3. I'll show you that in a moment. But right now, 66. Current temperature at City Airport just a little below normal. We should be at least around 67 degrees. This evening, if you have soccer practice, baseball, whatever it is, once that sun sets just after 7 o'clock, it gets cold quickly. So you are going to want to dress for that as it drops down into the 50s by 10 o'clock tonight and the 40s at midnight. Bus stop tomorrow morning, not quite as cold as it was this morning. 42 in the city, 30s in the suburbs, but then in the afternoon, plenty of sunshine when the kids get home from school and about 69 degrees. Take a look at this temperature trend over the next 7 days. 70s for Tuesday and Wednesday, as long as the cold front comes through when it's predicted to come through. On Thursday, it does look like we'll get back up to 71 degrees and then rain Thursday night and Friday, and much cooler temperature, a high Friday of only 54. To keep track of all of our up and down weather, the best way to do it when we're not on a broadcast is with our Forewarn Weather app. You just go to the App Store and download the Forewarn Weather app today.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Kim. Search and rescue operations remain active tonight in the hardest hit areas after Hurricane Ian. The storm now being blamed for 100 deaths in Florida, 4 in North Carolina. Meantime, President Biden is visiting Puerto Rico today, weeks after Hurricane Fiona ravaged that territory. He is expected to visit Florida a little later this week. More than 600,000 customers in Florida still do not have power tonight. Officials hope to have power restored by the end of the week. Now, we've seen Metro Detroiters trying to help in any way they can. Our Sean Lay just spoke with a local man who drove down over the weekend to Fort Myers. Sean?
Karen, yeah, Aaron Cummings from here got to the hard-hit area where he has a house that he's looking after. Today's his first full day, essentially, and yes, the incredible damage stands out, but something really positive also standing out to him tonight.
I sent a message to a friend of mine saying, hey, it looks okay. And then I sent a message about a minute later and I said, never mind, I just saw about 10 30-foot trees laying on their sides.
Aaron Cummings from Metro Detroit, but selling his home in Fort Myers, watched Hurricane Ian roar in from his doorbell camera. Right away, he loaded up his pickup truck with supplies to help anyone in his old Florida neighborhood and drove straight down over the weekend.
I got to around Punta Gorda, it looks like a bomb went off. The story on the ground, though, is it's like degrees of loss. I've been in constant contact with all of my friends and family, and it's did you lose a tree? Did you lose the lanai on your pool? Did you lose your entire house? But the common thread is everybody lost something.
Trees are down at Cummings' house, a roof ripped off his barn, the power of the storm standing out. But what is also standing out today?
There's been an obvious shift from the check-ins like, hey, how are you, to, hey, how can I help you? And everybody is there. Everybody's offering anything. Everybody, so like I said before, with the degrees of loss, everybody lost something. And the people who only lost a tree in their yard, if their house is still standing, they've got spare rooms for the people who lost their whole house.
Aaron Cummings, one of those people whose house is standing, didn't suffer too much damage at all, so he has opened his doors to those who do need to stay there, and people are taking him up on that. He'll be down in his old neighborhood helping other neighbors as long as they need that help. We're live tonight. Sean Lake, Local 4, back to you.
Appreciate Aaron helping out all those neighbors. Great story. Thank you, Sean. Meantime, several islands were cut off by Hurricane Ian in terms of cellular communication. Some people still haven't been able to speak with loved ones. But there is a special amphibious vehicle actually traversing land and water to try and fix the problem. And that story and much more on the recovery efforts from Hurricane Ian ahead at 6:30 on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Well, it will cost you more the next time you need to fill up your gas tank, and Hurricane Ian is partly to blame for the spike. Prices in Michigan jumped 23 cents over the last week to an average of $4.17 across the state. That's 33 cents more than this time last month. AAA says oil prices increased last week when some production in the Gulf of Mexico was put on hold because of Hurricane Ian. Experts say the deadly refinery explosion in Toledo is also contributing, along with other issues in the Midwest. Experts think prices may continue to go up throughout the week.